Hey, all you parenthetical bards and bardettes, welcome back to iCast Vicious Mockery.
A show about evil, about darkness.
And extraneous statements.
Well, I mean, perhaps we sometimes... anyway, I'm Matt.
I'm Austin.
And this show is starting off on a great note, I think.
Yep.
Already.
E double flat.
That's a great note.
Mm-hmm. One of the best notes.
If I knew anything about music theory, I guess.
It's like a C sharp, roughly. I mean, don't call them the same thing.
Adjacent to
a
C sharp.
Yeah, it's kind of like a C sharp.
They're in the family.
Or no, wait. I guess E double flat is just D. Never mind, I'm wrong.
Okay, D.
D is not. So I used to play, I guess I should say I used to play the flute. I have a flute. I have two. Because I took my wife's flute. And I can play them.
I forgot that she played the flute.
Yeah, she doesn't know how anymore because she only learned how with braces on. And then she got her braces off and couldn't play.
that would be a significant enough difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But C sharp is the easiest note to play on a flute. So that's why it's the best note. Why? That was backwards reasoning, but it's true. Why is it the easiest?
Why is it the easiest? Yes.
At most, you have to play it with just your pinky on one hand. Like you could take one hand completely off the flute, and you can use your pinky. But if you're okay with sounding pretty out of tune, I think, or is that a C? On my flute specifically, if you just play it with no anything held down, I think it makes a C sharp or a C or something in between.
Something in there though.
It's not like a real note, but
yeah,
it's pretty close and
not a real note. Isn't everything technically a real, like any sound in the ratio that you're telling me that?
Oh, are we about to get into like equal tempered tuning versus natural tune and stuff like that?
I mean, I'm saying this as somebody who has no idea what he's talking about, but my logic is like saying that there's a color that's not a real color, but isn't any color that exists in the color spectrum a color?
Yeah. So like there are notes that are defined at like certain frequencies, but they're based on a root frequency anyway. So you have to pick like a starting point for your tuning. Most things are tuned where A is 440 hertz. Just because, like it's just because it's arbitrary.
Okay. I'll accept that.
And, but then you start from that note and you can calculate out how, what the frequency of every other note should be.
Okay. So it's socialism for music. Equal distribution of notes for frequency. Okay.
Kind of. Well, actually an octave up is twice the frequency. So
the bourgeoisie. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a logarithmic distribution of notes per frequency.
Oh, logarithmic.
Yeah. So that I think is capitalism.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, some of the notes have a very disproportionately high amount of frequency attributed to them.
Okay, well, I accept that answer then. And music is now okay in my book.
Yeah.
Again.
But so like a note could be off from that and it would sound bad in context depending on the context, I guess. Yeah, notes can only be not really a note depending on context. But it's also only called a note when it's in music. Is that true? Hey, all you music nerds out there. Is it only a note when it's in music? Like as soon as you name it as a note, does that make the thing music?
Versus calling it just like a sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the sound has a frequency and it has overtones and whatever. But that doesn't make it a note, does it?
Not necessarily.
But if you call it a note, then it is. Is it? I don't know.
I've definitely seen plenty of videos where people like drop something on the floor and they're like, "Did you hear that? That was a perfect,"
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
I mean, never mind the fact that we might hear different overtones differently. And so somebody would say, "Oh, that was a perfect F sharp." And you might be like, no, I was hearing that A. I don't know about you, but like I heard an A.
I heard a Ado.
Yeah.
Yo, I heard the Ado. Yes, actually, I think that my hearing is very different from other people's because I've had many a discussion with people about the way a certain thing sounds in a song, and they don't know what I'm talking about. As if
he sees the hidden songs,
right? Like as if I'm hearing something completely different than they are.
Which you might be.
Like,
for instance,
I think I am.
I mean, imagine if the lower frequency end of your hearing was diminished, because that usually happens with age anyway. So it should be easy to imagine.
Okay, right.
So now you can't hear super low notes. Let's say you're listening to some bassy music with somebody. You'll hear something way up high in the frequency range. And they'll be like, "Whoa, what are you hearing? I don't hear any of that." But you like literally do hear it differently because the low notes aren't as loud. So relatively, like you're hearing those other notes better, the overtones and stuff from those low instruments.
Maybe it has something to do with that. I almost wonder if it's the opposite though, that I don't hear the higher frequencies for some reason.
Could definitely be the case.
There's a specific song. You can try this at home, folks.
All right, kids, get out your experiment.
Oh no, am I going to forget what the song is called? I am going to forget what the oh no, it's by a band called Bring Me the Horizon. I know some of you know this band. And the song is called Mantra. Yeah. And that's important because in the song,
you don't say it mantra. Sorry, I'm just.
That's the thing though.
What?
That's actually the thing.
Is it?
Yes, because when I listen to the song, that word is in the song. They say that word in the song. And when I listen to the song, I hear mantra. Like that's what I hear them say. Yeah. Like just like that. Mantra. Right? But I know other people who listen to that song and have like made fun of it because they're like, why does he say why does he say it like that? Like mantra. Why is he like mantra? And I'm like, but he doesn't. He says mantra. What? Well, it's not him. It's like a synthetic. It's a synthetic. I think it's a synthetic voice, or at least a modified vocalization of some kind.
It's like how in Mario 64, I hear hot pickle, but everyone else is like, no, he said, let's a go. Like Mario would say. Yeah. But I hear a different voice saying hot pickle. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's probably like that.
Yeah, it is like that.
It's probably just like that. Right. And I'm so curious what people hear, because I'm like, and I tried. I was like listening to it and I was concentrating really hard. And I was like, mantra, 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 mantra. And then I heard it. I heard the way that everybody else must hear it for like a second. And then I lost it again and I could only hear mantra. But but weird, right? It's like the audio equivalent of like the dress. You remember that thing back in the day where it's like, oh, what color is the dress? You know?
Yeah. Where it turns out some people have color correction and some people don't, built into their brains or eyes or whatever.
Right. Wait. Okay. Which color would be the color correction one? I'm wondering.
So the dress was
gold.
No. I think the actual dress was blue and black.
Yes.
Like if you looked at it in person, that's what you would say. And then if you used a color picker on it on a computer, it was objectively like gold and white.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, the image file was that color, or at least I used a color picker on it at one point, and that's what I found was brown pixels and white pixels, because gold just looks like brown pixels.
Yeah.
And I could only see it the one way.
I was able to see it both ways at a certain point, but but now I don't remember which way I saw it as first.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was gold is the way I saw it first.
Yeah, that's without the color correction turned on. Like your brain didn't see that picture and account for like the lighting in the whole shot. It just saw whatever color it was.
Okay.
Which is also how I saw it.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
Whereas my wife, who's a graphic designer, could only see it the color corrected. Like she looked at it and she was like, yeah, that's clearly a blue and black dress. And like she couldn't, which is weird, I guess, actually, because she should see objective colors, I would think.
Yeah, she should.
Yeah, as a graphic designer.
She's got to get better at that.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to step up her game. Okay.
There's no room in graphic design for different perspectives. That might be true.
That might be true.
I'm not a graphic designer, so I guess
either.
I can't make that call for you.
We should ask your wife.
I have a wife?
If there's... I know.
Whoa.
Yeah. Surprise.
If I did have a wife, though, she would definitely not be a graphic designer.
Definitely not. Why would you say that?
Why would I say that?
Why would you say that?
Why? Wait. Why would I say the word that?
No.
Okay.
Why would you say that if you have a wife, she wouldn't be a graphic designer?
Well, I don't know. I was just trying to make conversation.
Okay, now doubling back, why would you say that?
The word that.
Yes.
So I use it to obfuscate things usually.
That.
Sorry, I use that to I've never used it to obfuscate anything.
You've never used it to obfuscate that?
No, I would never. I would only use that.
Do you want to hear about vampires?
No.
No? Okay.
But let's do it.
Okay.
Nothing would turn me off more right now.
Well, we have a very secular recording session, so I think that's probably for the best.
Okay.
Secular was not the word I meant.
No, I was very confused by that. I was like, what? Like a religious?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yes. We can't bring those passions into our recording session today.
Right.
So here's a way that you can. Okay, first of all, we've got user Candy Squid. Candy Squid. So I know what you're thinking. Vampirism. How would like if your character became a vampire, how would you do that? Well, this person has posited, make it a condition, kind of like how exhaustion is a condition. And you can like
wait, what is it now?
Move into levels.
It changes your race, doesn't it?
Yeah, it changes. There's a few different ways to do it, I think, actually.
Condition's the way to go.
Condition might be the way to go.
I'm liking it so far.
Okay, so the first thing it does...
Okay, wait. Sorry, what was this person's name?
Candy Squid.
Candy Squid. Okay, because I was... Oh, no. I was going to say Candy _Wieners.
That's pretty close. If we go in
I'm sorry. Candy Squid.
More Japanese direction, maybe.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, anyway. Hey, grab a D6. Oh, wait, do I have easy access to? No. Do you have easy access to a D6?
Oh, yeah. There's one up there. But how about this?
Okay, here. Okay. Oh, how was that for everybody? Did you like that? Was that good for you? It's only you have to ask. Okay, 4. Your ears are short, sharp, and pointy as an elf's. Now I know what you're thinking. What if you're already playing an elf? Now your heart doesn't beat. This is like just a
wait. Roll it again. I need my heart to beat.
Please.
Okay,
no,
my ears again.
Pointy. Though creatures affected by your magic feel as if they are being watched at all times.
Okay, that's a lot better. Whew.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, oh no, I flipped it to 1. When you are asleep, you don't appear to breathe, but you still have to breathe to survive.
That's fine.
But you
That's
just don't.
fine.
But you just don't look like you're breathing.
Okay. That works for me.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave that over there.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
That was dangerous. Anyway, so that's just like a flavor thing. Like you manifest your vampirism in certain ways.
Yeah.
Okay, so right off the bat, you can drink blood. And I'll just say it that way.
Did you guys hear him say that?
Drink blood.
Did you hear him say that?
1d6 necrotic damage.
He said right off the bat.
Plus,
You guys all remember back when Matt said right off the bat?
in this thing about vampires. Thing about vampires.
I'm sorry. We could continue. Drink blood.
Piercing damage. Dexterity. 1d6 necrotic plus your dexterity modifier, I assume is what they mean. Piercing damage. What? Oh, 1d6 plus your 1d6 of necrotic damage and your dexterity modifier worth of piercing damage.
Oh.
And then whatever necrotic damage you deal, you heal that amount. And also the necrotic damage reduces the creature's hit point maximum until their next long rest.
Okay. That is a weird like a weird mechanic to me.
I agree. Yeah, okay.
I like it. I just don't know if I would flavor like that combination of things happening. I don't know if I would flavor that as a vampire bite.
Yeah, it's busy, right?
Well,
that's how I feel anyway.
I mean, I think it's fine. The die roll plus the, but I just feel like that to me, like dexterity doesn't feel right for biting somebody. That just doesn't feel like a dexterity thing to me.
I think that's how it is on actual vampires, though. Like the creatures in D&D, I think their bite is dexterity based. Because you gotta get in there, you know? Have you ever like bit somebody in the neck? It's like you gotta be pretty good at it. You gotta be pretty agile with it to do it properly.
We gotta try this out.
Okay.
Because like, I mean, we both have done grappling and things like that before.
That's true.
So we should know a thing or two about biting people in the neck.
It's my go-to move.
Yeah.
I've got,
I don't know if I've ever done that to anybody.
I've got somebody in my guard.
I mean, I would only have ever done that to my wife, if anybody.
Uh-huh. And
I think that would be too dangerous, actually, with only a mouth guard on the top teeth. Like I said, I feel like it's still a little too dangerous. I don't think I would do that.
Yeah. So,
yeah, what else we got?
Okay, I said this was level 1. What a fool I was. This is actually this is nothing. This is actually just the base stats. This is not even a level yet. You're not even at a level yet. This is just stuff you do now because you're a vampire. So you have bloodlust. If you're either at level 0 or if you haven't drank any blood that day, drinking,
mm-hmm.
You go into bloodlust. So if a creature takes damage that causes them to bleed within the range of your movement speed, make a wisdom saving throw. But if you fail, you have to use your reaction to try to drink their blood. If you roll a 1, you go into a frenzy and your level goes down to 0, and you go, and then your frenzy ends by some other thing we'll talk about later.
Wait, your level goes down to 0?
So your vampire level goes down to 0.
Okay.
Because remember, this is like a condition.
Yes.
But
okay. I thought it meant your character level.
Well, that would kill you because there is no level 0.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That feels very like, okay, I have recently watched a lot of videos about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm.
Like a week ago. I'm actually like kind of over it now. But I have like all this card game mechanic stuff in my brain, just in the back of my head, that feels like an alternate win condition that could be possible in D&D. Like you didn't reduce their hit points to 0, but you did reduce their level to 0.
Isn't that what a wraith does?
Well, sort of.
They reduce your XP when they hit you.
Oh, not in 5th edition. They
Oh,
reduce
maybe
your
not.
strength score
Oh, okay.
when they hit you.
Yeah.
And if your strength score goes to 0, then you die. Yes, that is true. So yeah, I guess alternative win conditions like that do exist in D&D.
They do exist.
They do exist. Maybe that should be explored more. I don't know any other creature that does something like that with other stuff. Oh well, I do know of creatures that can reduce like your intelligence, at least.
Yeah, I think the only thing about it is that it is really hard to introduce people to new mechanics like that all the time. It's not even that hard. It's just that people,
if they don't expect it, it might feel like cheating.
Yeah, that's part of it.
In a way, yeah.
But well, and also, I mean, it's not a game for, you know, maybe like that part of the rules isn't for the most hardcore people, because they can always come up with more monsters, right? That do have alternate win conditions they have access to and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you can make an environmental win condition or time-based win, you know, very easily. So those are simple. So then the only other things are like level-based or stuff like that. Okay, so if you reduce somebody's intelligence to 0, do they die? I mean, I feel like, in your opinion, should they die?
Yes. I feel like if any of your base stats are reduced to 0,
even charisma?
Even charisma.
But why? Just because I'm ugly?
Such a miserable, disgusting, vile creature.
You can't. You are so repellent that you just repel the soul from your body.
Exactly.
I got you now. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
You just straight up are like, you know, I'm not really worth it. Peace.
Yeah, like that meme where the guy holds up the peace sign and just like fades away. Yeah.
I just edited that to happen.
Yeah, perfect. I know you didn't.
No.
Okay. So whenever you drink blood in any way, roll a d20, and if you get a 1, your blood starts to boil, pushing you further into bloodlust, and then you go down a level in vampirism. However, if you get a 20, if you roll a natural 20, your blood stabilizes, allowing you to go up a level. So every time you drink blood, you have to roll a d20 to...
I think I needed an overview though. Like this is like way in the weeds, I think.
Yeah.
Like what how do the levels of vampirism work? Like what am I headed toward either way? Level 0 vampirism. Am I cured or am I dead?
No. You become like a Nosferatu, or no, like almost like a spawn. Or like a mindless, like...
Okay, so at level 0 vampirism, it's like a countdown to you lose everything.
Yeah.
And you are no longer even... You're not in control.
Yes, exactly. You're animalistic at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You're pure instinct driven.
Right.
At that point. That's what level 0 is, yeah.
And there may or may not be any coming back from it. That doesn't matter yet. So what, like if the vampire levels go up, what does that get me?
Let me see. The highest level is you're just like a master of your own condition, I guess. Your disease. Vampirism is treated a lot like a disease in fiction, I think. Mm-hmm. So it's you're like the master of your own disease. You become, rather than it hindering you, it only benefits. Like, I guess like level 0 is pretty much exclusively a hindrance,
Mhm.
and level 5, which is the highest it goes, is like pretty much exclusively a benefit.
A helpdurance.
A help.
The opposite of a hindrance.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm guessing that, you know, as you go up, they probably list out all the different things that happen at the different levels. I don't think I'm too concerned about the details there, because the best I could do is like nitpick and say, oh well, this is. I think it's a good continuum though, and it gives you a good reason to want, because there's always that chance that you know, a couple of bad rolls, you end up way down in there
in the weeds. Yeah.
What do they say what level you start at? I guess it probably depends.
I believe I read this somewhere in here that you start at level 0 when you are turned into a vampire.
Oh, okay. So there is coming back from a level 0 then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Level 0, basically, like when you do drink blood,
Mm-hmm.
there's a 5% chance that you'll go up to level 1.
Right.
And the whole thing about level 0 is you just mindlessly hunt and kill and drink blood until that happens, I guess.
Right. Yeah. We all been there, man.
I mean, yeah. Here's an interesting thing though. If you die, you can choose not to instead of dying. I like the way that's phrased. That implies that you can choose to just die.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come back, you're at level 0. And then if you die at level 0, then you are just
then you
dead.
die in real life.
Yeah. If you die in the 0, you die for real. So you have like some strengths and weaknesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it also basically says that, because in D&D, if a vampire bites you and sucks your blood, you are not a vampire.
No.
Yet. But there are ways that you can be turned into a vampire. And this is basically saying if a vampire bites you, you got to make a save or else you're a vampire now.
Okay, I'll do that.
That's the idea, right?
14 good enough?
Yes.
Heck yeah.
The DC is 6 plus their level in vampire.
Oh.
So I guess it could only be up to 11, which isn't very high.
No, but they can just bite you every turn until you get turned into a vampire. So
yeah, I guess they there's no limit to the number of times they can do it. So I guess it's.
And if you bite somebody else and you're a fighter, you can probably do like 5 bites per turn.
That's true.
Is a bite an unarmed attack? Because you could monk that.
No. Oh, yeah. I guess technically it's an unarmed attack.
Yeah, you can monk that. So vampire monk, we're doing it.
We're making the vampire monk. I think technically,
one of the vampires from your campaign does give me monk vibes.
Which one?
Oh shoot, I'm mixing up their personalities now.
The one who's going with you guys now, or a different
Hands
one?
in pockets one.
Yeah.
That
the guy who's helping you out at the very moment.
Yeah, he's got monk vibes.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. I can't say that I gave any of them like a specific class or anything, but yeah.
Anyway, that's all. That's fine.
That is what it is. Okay. I don't know if there's much else to say about this.
No, there is not, except thank you again, Candy Squid.
Yeah,
Squids?
oh, yeah. Yep, you got it. Candy squid. Yep. Mm-hmm.
One squid.
Oh no. Is it one? Hold on. I just got away from it. Yes, a single squid. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Single squid. Well, hey, do you want more stuff? This one's cool.
Yes, I'm ready for it.
Okay, we got some magic arrows. All kinds of different magic arrows that do cool magic arrow stuff.
This is needed. This is necessary.
Yeah.
And I'm putting it in the official rule book right now.
Okay, well, this comes to us from Assassin NPC. Assassin _NPC.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. What did you think I meant?
I don't know.
Okay.
Wait, did I tell you about the origin of the word assassin?
Hashashin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're good.
I know. Well, I don't know if you told me, but I am familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the lore. I learned about it in playing Assassin's Creed. That's not true. They don't talk about it in that game.
That's weird, isn't that?
Yeah.
They're like all history, but they don't even talk about their own history.
Yeah. And then they lie to you and they say there's a game set in ancient Egypt, but it's actually like ancient Greece, really.
Why would they do that?
And like the pyramids are already like ancient ruins. It's like, And I'm like, no, I want to be there when the pyramids were like the new and cool.
But then nothing else would be there. They wouldn't have had time to build all the other cool stuff yet.
Oh, I guess that's true. Okay, but like closer to that time though, at least.
Yeah, you could definitely go closer.
Anyway.
It's just weird that Egypt did 2 like whole deals.
Yeah, 2 entire deals that were separate. Yeah. Okay, so these are numbered, but I guess it doesn't really matter. There's just a list of them. I'm just going to say the ones that jump out at me because there's a lot of them. Whoosh arrow. It makes a noise when you shoot it that goes whoosh. That's what it do.
I love it.
Ooh, I like the name of this one. This one's called the Joltabolt.
Whoa.
The target.
Okay, wait. Number 1.
Uh-huh.
Assassin _NPC.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. This is not just, I made electric arrows and I made a thunder arrow. I like the names. Keep them up.
Yeah, Joltabolt.
Yeah, what's that do?
Target makes a Constitution save.
Of course.
13 DC.
Mm-hmm.
Or they are stunned for 1 minute.
Nice.
That's a long time.
Taser arrow.
Of course, they can make a Constitution save at the end of each of their turns to try to break free from the stun. But still, you want to be like a monk? Long distance monk. Stun them from a distance.
A lunk.
Correct. Yes, a lunk.
Right.
What about a CO2 arrow? When you shoot it, it makes a 5-foot cube of CO2, suffocating creatures that rely on oxygen to breathe.
What? I love it.
Yeah. Isn't that fun?
I don't know when you would ever use it. But that's the point. That's what's so cool about it.
When would you use it?
You give this to somebody and they do the work.
And you see when they use it. Yeah, exactly. Crocodile arrow.
Uh-huh.
Turns into a giant crocodile head.
Uh-huh.
Disregard normal damage. Your crocodile deals a flat 4d6 bludgeoning. Nom nom. It says that in the description.
Is it bludgeoning and not piercing?
Yeah, for some reason it's bludgeoning. I don't know why.
Slashing?
It's bludgeoning. That's what he says.
What kind of damage is a crocodile bite?
Listen to probably piercing, I would imagine.
I think it's
almost certainly piercing.
They try to like tear your leg off, right?
I'm just
it's
saying
like pulling damage. It's like rippy.
What, bludgeoning? What do you,
I don't know. What type of damage is it if somebody pulls, like, just grabs your leg and pulls it off of you? Ripping damage, right?
Force damage?
Is that, it could be.
Could be. I don't know.
Maybe this thing does force damage. Anyway, I'm fine with it though. Either way.
Cool. Well, of course there's a stink arrow.
That makes sense.
DC is 19 Constitution save, by the way.
Okay.
They have disadvantage on rolls that rely on sight because their eyes are all watery. If they roll a 10 or less for their save, they instinctively drop everything in their hands and plug their nose with both hands.
I think if they want, they can switch that to a dexterity save. But if they fail that one, then they become nauseated or something.
And barf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They immediately puke.
Attracting. Okay. All right, here's a twofer.
Uh-huh.
There's the Cry Guy arrow and the Shy Guy arrow. The Cry Guy arrow, when on a hit, the target perceives everything as dreadfully disheartening. So
I love it.
DC 14 wisdom save. If they fail, they fall prone, becoming incapacitated. Any creature with intelligence of 4 or less is not affected. At the end of each of its turns, anytime it takes damage, they make another save. They have advantage on the save if it's triggered by damage, and the spell ends on a success. But hey, Cry Guy arrow. Shy Guy arrow, on the other hand, DC 14 wisdom, same. They drop everything that they're holding and they're frightened of you for the duration. While frightened in this way, they must make the dash action to move away from you. The safest available route on each of its turns, unless there is nowhere to go. If the target ends its turn in a location where it does not have line of sight, then it can make another wisdom save, and that ends the spell.
Those are great.
So Shy Guy.
I mean, this feels like you could use this with like a sorcerer and give them actual magic instead of whatever sorcerers do. You know what I mean?
What do
like that's what these
sorcerers do?
arrows feel like.
Yeah, just give them to a sorcerer. Okay, sorry, I'm reading ahead.
Well, so the other thing though that I mean, this is a big thing, and I very much doubt. Well, okay, I guess I can't say that for sure. Assassin NPC might have playtested all of these.
Maybe. Who knows?
Because maybe they have like a large community of people who they play with, and then, they were able to do that. I kind of doubt it, and that's fine. That's great. That's homebrew. But anyway, let's continue, I guess. What do we got next?
Okay, based on the alligator arrow, I know what you're thinking. The frog arrow must summon. Nope.
It turns the other person into a frog.
DC 14 wisdom save, or they're polymorphed into a frog.
And if you kiss them, it brings them back. Just write that on there.
I'm just gonna make a note.
Yeah.
Hey, have you played Fallout? I know that you haven't played Fallout, but this is a stim pack arrow.
Oh wait, are you talking about Fallout 3?
Yes, or any of the Fallout games, really. Fallout 3 is one of the Fallout games.
Right. Well, I've only played the real Fallout.
Like the original?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I was gonna say the first one. That's an old game. That's an old point and click adventure game.
It would be kind of my thing, but
it might be. Anyway, this is a healing arrow. It heals people. You shoot them and they're healed. Okay, what about a slippery arrow though?
Does it make ice?
I like this one because of the description.
Okay.
DC 14 dex save, or they slip and fall prone on their butt, specifically.
Wait. Hold on just a second here.
Yes.
If you fall onto your butt, most people, when they fall on their butt, are not prone.
Correct.
They are supine.
Okay.
Meaning
that
they're this way up.
Yeah, I didn't know that
Opposite
that was
of prone.
The word. Okay.
Yeah, like not pronated, they're supinated. Right? So they
Understood.
fall.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Understood.
So if you
yeah.
If you fall prone onto your butt,
Yeah.
But if you fall prone onto your butt, what kind of magic is in this arrow that put your butt on the front?
Prone is a condition in D&D that basically it just means you're not standing.
Right.
So even though that's not what it means, it's a condition that means something different in D&D than it does in real life.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to say to that.
Okay, that's fair. I still want the butt rule, though.
Yeah. Well, you have to fall prone on your butt according to this.
Okay.
It says it again because anytime the target tries to stand, they have to make another dex save in order to keep from falling back down on their butt.
Oh, that would be a hilarious way for your character to die. Like they just keep trying to get up and they just keep falling on their butt, and then they just get killed. It just happens like that.
Videos where somebody slips and falls are almost always funny, as long as they're okay in the end.
I have to show you one.
I do too. I have to show you one too.
All right. I don't know how we'll ever remember that.
Yeah, I've already forgotten.
Somebody who watches this, remind me. If anyone out there sees this, remind me to show Matt that video of somebody falling.
Yeah, and also me with Austin of that video of somebody falling.
Yeah, I think if you remind either of us, we'll both be reminded.
You know what?
And that's whoever does it out, there's a reward.
Oh.
I don't know, like 30 experience or something. I don't know. What do you do? What do you reward a D&D podcast listener?
30 experience is
30 experience.
Not very much at any level. It's not enough to level you up at any level, so it's probably fine.
Well, I don't think I can level somebody up. Like I'm not the what kind of like
I know, who are you to level somebody up?
What kind of ego would you have to be the one who's like, I decided that you're leveled up?
There's also just an arrow. It's literally just an arrow. That's the description.
What does it do?
That's it. It's literally just an arrow.
Oh, well, why don't they call it an arrow? Is it does it take up a different inventory spot than my arrows?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes just because
does my character know that? Like, do they understand the difference? If I had 500 Justin arrows and 500 arrows, could my character lie to someone and say, I only have 500 arrows, but they would think that it's true because they know the difference? Or would they think that they are lying?
Man, that's tricky. That's like the opposite of metagaming, where you're like, I don't think my character would know this, so I'm going to say this answer. And then that's like I think they call that malicious compliance.
I think I'm too good at malicious compliance.
I'm pretty good at it too, actually.
Yeah. And I know that I'm too good at it because I do it to myself.
You maliciously comply with yourself?
Yeah.
You make things worse for yourself by doing exactly what you're supposed to?
Totally.
Cool. Can you give an example?
So. Yeah. So like I'll do like exactly what I said I would do. For instance, like I mean, even just a simple thing. Like I say I'm gonna get whatever chore done, but it turns out that's actually like 8 hours, and it's 6 p.m. and I'm like already really tired, but I said I was gonna do it, so now I have to do it, and then at 4 a.m. I of course regret that I said that. So in the future, I will never commit to doing anything ever again. And
yeah.
That kind of deal. I don't know of any other examples off the top of my head, but I know I've done stuff like that to myself. I feel like maybe most people have.
I think a lot. Yeah.
I mean,
that's not
like,
uncommon.
If you look at how people treat themselves compared to how they treat each other, like I would rather be anybody else than me.
I agree. I just
and we all would rather be anybody else than ourselves if we treated ourselves like each other we treated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Uh-huh. So yeah. Look more like, yeah. Yeah. There never has been so far as decided to use. I was so close. I almost knew the whole thing. Has anyone ever really been so far as decided to use? What's the next?
Hey Google, put in the comments down below. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Can we talk about arrows or something?
Okay, well, here's Sensitive Coyote 865.
This is a different
thing.
Different homebrew.
The arrows are done. We're done with the arrows.
Sensitive Coyote 865.
Yeah, Sensitive Coyote 865. You got it. You touch a tree or a bush, like whatever, I don't know, a plant of some kind. It turns into a horse. Okay.
So a tree or large shrub, we'll say,
but like a plant horse, not like an actual horse,
right?
Yeah. For the duration, you or a creature you choose can ride the horse. The statistics are of a riding horse, except difficult terrain does not slow down its movement.
Right, because it has roots.
Because it's plant.
Or something.
Go.
I gotcha.
When the spell ends, the plant replants itself into the ground and returns to its original shape. And the spell ends early if you use an action to dismiss it, yada, yada. The thing that's really interesting about this, what level spell does this
Does it sound like
seem
3
to you? Yeah, okay, 3. I think that's reasonable.
Right.
It's level 2.
Okay.
I think that's a little low.
I guess you do get level 2 pretty early.
Yeah, level 2, I mean, you get level 2 at character level 2 or something in most classes. This is Druid and Ranger only.
Dude,
So Druid, yes. Ranger, maybe not, because Rangers don't.
I see why you'd want it to be level 2, so Rangers have access to it at some point.
Yeah, eventually.
But before you abandon the character.
Yeah, before you realize
they get killed because they're useless.
A ranger. Until you realize, being a ranger is terrible.
Yeah. Now this is super overpowered for somebody who wants to be a landscaper.
They could just move a plant wherever they want.
Right.
Yeah.
Like imagine doing this with like a sequoia or something.
Just bring that sequoia
or like one of those like pine forests that where like the one tree is every tree and they're all one big connected thing. You just turn that into the world's largest horse and you just put it somewhere else. This is a weapon of devastation.
Monet would have loved this.
Did he have problems with trees being in the wrong place?
No, but he was like an avid gardener. I went to a Monet exhibit. It was actually a plant exhibit, not an art exhibit, believe it or not.
When did you go to a plant exhibit?
Not last Wednesday, the Wednesday before that. I went to a city that has a plant conservatory.
Oh, this makes sense. Okay, I got you.
You've been there. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I won't say where and I won't say which one. Maybe it doesn't matter. Anyway, you could figure it out if you know which one did a Monet exhibit recently, I guess. Anyway,
it could be any of them.
So I went there and there was one of those placards. They had like Monet prints, like, in certain places. You could read the placards, and one of the placards says that Monet, like he was living the artist's dream. He just lived with a super rich guy who is like, paint me stuff sometimes. And I'll just like, you can live here and like, you can like kind of like have my money and spend, like, you ask me first, but like buy whatever you want. Also, you have free reign with my garden.
Here's my company card.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the company card.
Just make the house look nice, make the garden look nice.
Right.
Maybe my accountant won't notice if a couple $100 extra goes into someone's pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. Doesn't that sound awesome though? I don't know. Well, okay, on the fence, but because he still like had a wife and kids and stuff. Like he had a family. He wasn't just a bachelor living with some dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy was so stacked with the coinage that he had his own house basically on this dude's property. I think. Anyway.
I don't know. I think I don't like being on retainer for anybody.
Well, that's true.
You know, like I don't know what the relationship was between Monet and this person.
I don't even remember who this person was.
And so I don't know if like Monet like just had to paint whenever this dude was like, all right, I have a painting idea. Here's what I need. Or if he was just like, hey, listen, Monet, like I'm going to put you up in this house. Like I'm just paying it forward.
Yeah, just do what you love.
Do what you
and pass the love down to me whenever you come up with something good. Yeah.
So I don't know how it was, but I wouldn't like if someone was just like, hey, I have an idea for a thing. I need you to do it now. I don't know, man. I don't know. That doesn't sound like I like it sounds fine. My ideal life would be at my pace, which I mean is blazingly fast, but
I really don't know. I really just don't know what it was like for him there. Mm-hmm. I just remember reading it and it just, the context of it made it sound like it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Because at least the description said that he was given free reign to do with whatever he wanted with the garden, at least. Mm-hmm. Like the dude was basically like, make my garden look nice. And he was like, all right. And he like had his own vases that he loved, or what would you call them? They're not quite vases. Planters of urns? No, urn is something else.
Yeah, like the big pots?
Yeah, big ones.
Yeah, planters.
Yeah, planters. Yeah, he had his own that he really liked. That because I don't think he lived with this guy forever. I think eventually he did leave and go do his own thing somewhere. But while he was there, he had his own that he really liked and took with him everywhere, apparently.
Right.
Which, like, you must really like something if you're like, that's a big pain in the neck to carry in those days.
Yeah.
I don't know when Monet was alive. I have no context. He could have been alive in like medieval times or like 100 years ago, for all I know. I have no clue.
Or how long ago? Wait, how long ago was medieval times?
I don't even
know. Like 150 years ago?
More than that, I'm sure.
160?
You know, you see, I'm so bad with like what happened when. Mm-hmm. Like there have been so many times in my life where somebody has been like, oh, yes, this and this happened in the same like span of 50 years.
Because the like Edo period in Japan feels like medieval-ish Japan to me.
Right, exactly. But
like there were people with guns and like trains. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so no, it was not medieval-ish.
Right.
Right. But they had all the same like old-fashioned clothes and stuff that they did for the past 800 years before that, pretty much. I mean, it didn't it didn't look visually very much different. So yeah, stuff like that throws me off. Can we all just like mix it up a little bit here?
Can we like get Japan on the horn and be like, yo?
So, it's not just Japan.
Right.
Oh, let me set the record straight right here.
All right, spill the tea. What do we got?
I mean, it's other countries too.
Cool.
A little bit. Like China did their whole like, hey, we're enlightened now. We did an enlightenment or a Renaissance or something, but it was like 1100. And then everyone else was like, oh, we'll Renaissance too. And it was like 1400.
Like China called? That's so 1100.
Yeah.
A Renaissance. Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, we're Renaissancing. And that's when the printing press was made. But like, all right, if they were printing stuff back then how come there were still people handwriting whole books? Why were they doing that still?
Behind on the times, man.
But that's because they weren't, I think, during the Renaissance. I think it was actually, they were printing
pretty popular. They were actually printing. Well, and
but I just can't. Oh no, Renaissance didn't start in the 1400s. What am I saying? See, I can't keep it straight either, though.
You see, I have no idea.
The actual dates in history were never ever relevant to me. I never cared about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is relevant. Like, is that? There's got to be I mean, it's relevant if you're a historian and you need to keep the order of things straight. And I guess it's a handy thing for connecting new ideas to old ones. But
yes.
Like, I remember things in an encapsulated, like, here's the old empire in Egypt and the new empire in, like, I see the whole, like, that cycle. That's one thing. This is the order of events within it. Cool. I don't need to remember the dates anymore.
Right. Yeah. What happened? I just think it's fascinating whenever I'm reminded that, like, certain things happened, like, way more recently than I thought, or like way further back than I thought. I'm trying to remember anything specific. I wish I could remember anything specific, but I really don't.
Well, as far as like actual spatial, or like, I guess when I say spatial, I mean through time. So not space, but also space. Yeah, same thing. But as far as like temporal sort of closeness goes, it's kind of weird that like there are people who are recorded on tape, or who like, there are videos of people who were in the American Civil War, or like whose parents were in, whose grandparents were in the American Revolutionary War, or stuff like that. Like it's crazy that we know what anyone who's even close to that sounds like, or I mean, there are photographs and stuff too, but
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, it constantly boggles my mind. Like, just today, I was talking to, like, some coworkers, and one of them was like, "Oh, I was born in the mid 80s, right?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, like, for some reason I was like, so like my age. but then I realized, oh no, that was like 10 years before I was born. And like, it's the 20s now.
Right.
Which is just absolutely wild, ridiculous. Because, like, Gesundheit.
Thank you.
Because, like, my grandfather was born in the 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not alive anymore, but
I think,
or in the 30s maybe, but
my
still.
Grandparents, I might have had some 20s, some 30s.
Yeah, no, he was born in the 20s. Yeah, my grandfather was born in the 20s, because I remember my mother recently being like, "Oh, if your grandfather was still alive, he would be 100 right now." And that blew my mind apart, because, like, I knew him, and he was involved in World War II. And it's interesting because how many people who were in World War II are alive anymore? Probably not very many.
Yeah. Definitely fewer than there were at the start of it.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, they were all over the place, because I did a project when I was a kid about, like, we had that project when we were kids about.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Oh, I did. World War. You had to interview, like, your family member about something.
Any veteran, I think.
A veteran, yeah, right. And
any war veteran from the U.S.
Right.
Or I guess they didn't have to be from the U.S. You could have interviewed any veteran.
I guess so.
Probably, and gotten away with it. I'm sure that teacher would have been like, "You interviewed somebody in French, or you Polish, or German, or I was gonna say Austrian, but that's
That would maybe not.
all right. But
Yeah.
so you interviewed somebody just for this like that's pretty cool. I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's what they would have said.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. But I chose my grandfather because obviously he was in World War II, and that was easy because he was my grandfather.
Right.
But I felt like if for some reason that wasn't an option for me, it wouldn't have been that hard to find somebody who was in World War II.
Yeah.
Or just around somewhere. Like you could find somebody. But now I feel like that would be really hard.
Yeah. And it's just like 15 years later.
Right, exactly. Like so weird to me.
Yep.
And like every year that goes by, there are more and more people. Like we were really young when 9/11 happened, and there are more and more people that exist in the world and are adults now that were born after it happened, and are only learning about it from history books, which is weird.
Yeah,
to me,
they've always had to go through the whole rigmarole when trying to get on a plane.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And
whereas I don't know if I remember it, but I've gotten on a plane without
I have
anybody asking me if I have a gun.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've definitely done that in my life. I don't remember it though.
Yeah. Because there was nothing remarkable about it. You just walked onto a plane. It wasn't a big deal. Being on the plane was kind of a big deal.
Right. Yeah. People were more age. Yeah. Yeah, but I've always, like in my adult life, I've always been more nervous about going through security than I have been about getting on the plane for whatever reason.
Well, like getting on the plane, being on the plane, like that's fine. Easy stuff. You don't have to do anything.
Well, that's true. But yeah, I know. Like, well, yeah. And you never thought, and I've talked to people too, where they've said like, when TSA was founded, the apparently the goal was the federal government would just do it, and they would like initiate it, and they would come up with the standards of how they wanted it to be done, and then the airports would pay for it, and they would like bring their own officers in, and the airports would run it.
It sounds like that worked.
And then the airports were like, oh no, we don't want to pay for that. Like we don't want to pay for that. And then the government was like, all right, I guess we'll do it then.
Let's do it. We'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live right now. So, and then it's just been like a thing that the government does forever. But isn't that interesting to think about, that could have been like, that could be like a private thing that the government doesn't do.
Yeah.
The airport has to pay for.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like, so imagine if hospitals,
okay,
with all of their current sort of bureaucratic mess, which I mean, it works to some extent. Like people obviously get sick and are taken care of. People obviously get injured and are taken care of.
Correct.
But like there is a bureaucratic mess, obviously, because it wasn't just like overnight. It wasn't just like, hey, tomorrow all the hospitals are going to do this. Like it wasn't all at once. It was built up over time. But imagine if that was like, somebody was like, all right, well, let's just do something as crazy as that, but just all at once. That's kind of what the whole TSA deal feels like then, like right. It's that level of, like if you just dumped that on the airports and were like, meet these standards. And they were like, what, how, when?
Yeah.
And you were like, now, and I don't care how.
You're right. Exactly. And then, yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff about it, like for example, it's not like the 2002, which is when all that stuff kind of started, was also the founding of the Department of Homeland Security. And then TSA was like a subset of that. And I'm sure there are other branches of it too. But they were never like fully federalized even.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot about that organization. It was one of those things where like, okay, so I like today, literally today, just got a PCP, a personal care provider, like a doctor, like my doctor, you know. I'm 28. Like, why didn't I have one already?
Right.
It's because I kept doing this thing where I was like, oh, I'm probably going to be moving within the next couple of months. So I can just do that when I move. And then that didn't happen. And then I'm like, oh, okay. I'll just, my insurance is weird and I don't like want to do that because my insurance isn't very good and I don't want to have to pay all this money like all the time to go to the doctor. And then like, now that's not a problem anymore. But then for the last couple of years, I was still like, oh, maybe I'll move, all that kind of stuff. Right. So I finally did it now because I was like, okay, I don't think I'm going to move anymore. So I probably should just get one. That's what TSA is doing. Like for the past 20 years, literally 20 years, they've been like, oh, we're not going to fully federalize because like we're not going to exist for very much longer. Like we're not going to need to do this for very much longer.
Right.
So like what's the point in like getting fully like invested? So yeah, it's interesting. So now finally there is legislation going through that's going to bring TSA into a fully like federalized organization. Yeah, fascinating stuff.
Is this a thing that should be avoided? This whole being in a state where you're like, I shouldn't get invested yet. Should this be avoided?
I don't know.
I don't know either. If I had the answer to that, I think I think I'd have.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty important question to know the answer to.
Right.
And I think the answer would be pretty pertinent to many people's lives.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that's like way too complicated to have just a straight answer, especially when you're dealing with people, right? Like, should I get it? Like,
oh, yeah, I guess that's a good point too.
You know what I mean? Like, should I get invested with this person?
Yeah.
I think is where my brain immediately jumps.
Literally, you can't consider it.
No, you can't.
With a person.
You can't consider it because they're so much involved in that as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're fully involved. Like you're fully involved.
Well, I didn't think about them.
And fully involved.
I just meant like from your own perspective, you can't even consider it. Like you have to take each relationship by like little bite-sized pieces.
Right.
There is no like, hey, we're just gonna right now today, we just met and we wrote up our agreement, like our friendship agreement.
Yeah.
So this is how it's gonna go. We're going to be this level of friends, which includes these benefits or does not include these benefits.
Right.
That sort of thing.
And you know what? I'm sure.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about insurance and stuff.
Right.
Or like friend insurance. The kind of insurance where like if you get rear-ended, like they'll come and pick you up.
Yeah. Right.
Like, is that included in this agreement or not?
In the package deal. Right.
Right. But that, like, you just have to take it little bite-sized pieces. And then eventually, if you go far enough with that agreement, then you do have insurance.
Yeah, and some people might say that you want to establish boundaries in a relationship. But to what point are you establishing boundaries? And to what point are you trying to make a personal relationship transactory like an insurance company or a business or something?
Oh, I see. So what you're saying is each time somebody like goes against your boundaries, it has to reduce the relationship quotient or whatever, like your balance on the relationship.
I'm saying that you can't. I don't know if there's a way to really like explicitly talk about it in tangible ways. You know what I mean? Like, like, is there a way to talk to somebody where you say something like that? Like you write up the contract where you're like, okay, in the event of a flat tire, where do I stand with you? And when do you reevaluate? Do you have to do that like every day? That would be something you'd have to do almost every day.
Should we try that?
To like
hey guys, should we try an experiment where
I'm sure there are people who have done something akin to that with the relationships in their lives, you know. But nobody has the time to do that. Even if you had passive income with no job and no responsibilities, you couldn't do that.
It kind of sounds like the thing that you're talking about is a prenup.
Right. But with every relationship, not just marriage.
Why don't we do that?
A prenup with every relationship.
Dude, imagine how big every lawyer's money swimming pool would be.
if every personal relationship had a prenup. They would just be
swimming in it, man.
Lawyer would be the only financially stable job that exists in the world if that was the case.
Or would it be...
what lawyer would you hire to write up the contracts that you have to establish with your lawyer?
That's personal
relationship with your lawyer. Exactly.
Yeah. Wouldn't you need like a paralegal?
A paralegal.
But like a paralawyer. Because a paralegal, I think they just kind of like, they're in charge of all the paperwork, but they're not like involved in the legal contract necessarily. They're just a separate person. Mm-hmm. So they're like above the law. That's what paralegal means.
Oh, above the law.
Yeah.
So you would have to go to law school because you'd have to eventually.
Maybe they're on top of the law. They're not like better than the law. They just literally are like the law is the ocean them. And they are on the dock and they go fishing in the ocean of law.
Okay, but hear me out here because
if you give a lawyer a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you give him a paralegal,
they can fish.
They will fish for him, and they will give him a fish.
Is the lawyer in the water? I feel like the lawyer has to be in the water.
The lawyer is a fish.
He's a fish.
The lawyer is a fish. You are a fish.
But also,
I am a fish. The
paralegal
is a fish, but they are also the fishermen. Because they fish for men. Like Jesus.
Okay, but in this scenario,
I
have to double back here.
Okay.
You have to become a lawyer because somebody has to write the contracts for the relationships for all these other lawyers. Mm-hmm. But if you go to law school, who's going to write the contract
between you and all your teachers?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I knew you were about to say that. I knew you were about to say, you know who would do that?
Who? The paralegal. No, sorry.
I guess the teachers would have to do it.
The teacher, okay, that's
where we bootstrap this thing. Because you could work on it together as part of the class.
That's part of the class.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. And that's how we get everybody.
There would be one before you start at the school that like dictates how your relationship with the school works.
So I'm making this D&D setting where everybody is a lawyer.
Oh no. Why would you? But wait, are they also like fish people?
Yes, yes.
Everyone is a lawyer and a fish person.
A Locath, yes.
Yeah.
I call it Locath Lawyers. I call it the Locath Lawyers Compendium LLC.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a successful. Succinct.
This was a really good
episode.
Yeah, it was like a good way to launch our Kickstarter
for our LLC. Locath Lawyer. Compendium. Yeah.
Right. I'm not actually clear. Are we kickstarting a company?